Welcome, possibility seekers, to the Art of the Possible podcast, where we inspire, entertain, and educate you on leading an epic life. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Art of Possibility. The latest episode has me blown away because I'm speaking with Zahrina. Zahrina.com, Zahrina Robertson. How are you?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Rob. It's ZahrinaPhotography.com.
I know. I love it. I love Zahrina.com, though. I just think that's like one crazy word.
Yeah.
Zahrina photography and video. So it's more than photography, though. It's photography and video.
Yeah, that's right, my darling. Yeah, that's interesting. The name is unique, and I think, well, my dad named me this name, and I was like, I was fascinated why this name, but stuck with me for a reason.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about branding and being unique and how that stands out. So I love that. So let's talk about one thing, though, because this is called the Art of the Possible. What does the word possibility mean to you?
Huge amounts. I think I live in my possibility bubble through this whole 2020 in this COVID situation. I've only looked at the word possibility because everything has been possible that I've actually thought of that I wanted to do in this whole year. And even beyond possibility, it's been amazing. So to me, possibility means opportunity. It means helping others. And it means clarity. It really means clarity. If you can get the more possibility in your life, the more clarity you're going to get. You're going to be better for your customers and better for yourself.
Yeah, I call possibility to me is where opportunity meets optimism, right?
Yeah.
So we've got the opportunity, but we're also optimistic because you haven't got the right mindset. You're going to miss stuff, and that's the thing I love about possibility. And there's a great quote by the X Games gold medalist Travis Pastrana, and he said that possibility just means it hasn't been done yet.
You're spot on.
So it can be done. No one said you can't do it. You just got to work out what you can do. So hey, look. Get back to your father, though, because your father you were talking about him earlier, who named you, which is great, because I was glad it wasn't just anybody, happened to be like the doctor. I like the word Zahrina. Okay, let's call it that. What I love about that is your father was a photographer as well. So you're like second generation, is that right?
Yeah. And so Dad was a photographer, and he never said to me, this is how you hold the camera, this is what you do, at all. I was just immersed. I just had these cameras lying around the home. They're really, really old cameras. Kodak in the day. There was little bubbles for the little rectangle bubbles for the flash. And I just used to play with them like, it was like a little mini Rubik's Cube. I mean, they were just glowy and colorful. And then because I wasn't told how to do it, I was very much an intuitive, and still am, always. And I highly intuitive photographer that because of no training as such. Does that make sense?
Because it makes total sense because the best people in the world are creatives who play, and part of the best thing in the world is playing, right? And you learn how to play. And I give a great example of a friend of mine, Tom Burton, who won the gold medal in Rio for sailing. His maneuver that won him the gold medal was something he learned in play as an 8-year-old when he started sailing. It was just mucking around in boats. And it was a maneuver that he got good at that who would have known back then, but it comes from creativity. And I agree with you on photography because, you and I spoke earlier, I've got a lot of photographers in my family. So you can read every photography book you want to. You can go to every photography course you want to. But until you get out there and, start shooting in light, in rain, and all sorts of stuff we'll talk about later on, you don't know shit, right? You're actually going to go do it and see what comes out and go, oh, my God, that was amazing. Or, oh, that didn't work out, right? Or that, what I should have done here. Yeah, I completely agree with you that kind of, I wouldn't say it's I think you're learning, but it's kind of free play learning.
Yeah, it's free play learning. But, a big part of learning, though, is actually trusting your gut and having a good sense and refined sense of taste. Because if you can be a so-called photographer and be snapping around, but if you're not refining your taste of what the end customer will buy from you, then you're just an amateur.
Zahrina, is that, to me, take you back there, is that commercial taste?
Oh gosh, yeah. Look, I could go and photograph a rose in my backyard and go, yeah, that's great for my purposes. But if I'm thinking, okay, if I'm getting paid for this and I want to do the best possible job then I wouldn't accept money if I knew I was delivering a substandard product. So I've got a world-class standard in my mind, in my work, in my approach. So world-class. And homing that in, just to think about that, has brought me to where I am today.
I love that. I'm a huge fan of world-class benchmarking. Or if you can't get to world-class, get to whatever you can that's close that you can access, right? And we're lucky, we're lucky in Australia. We do have world-class if you're seeking it, but sometimes you have to go overseas, as I've done. I know you've done many times to find world-class and be with world-class. But I love that attitude. So you tell me about your father, though. So was he a commercial photographer? That was his job as well as was it?
Oh, no, Dad was, we've got a creative streak in the family. He was a photographer, but not commercial, and he
wasn't professional. He had another job, and
he done work before, but he's not full blown like me. I studied marketing, and I've got sorry.
No one's like you, you know that.
Well, so many of them try to be. I've had my imposters out there, Rob.
I know, Zahrina, but you've always got to remember the great quote by Madonna, right? Single name like you. Madonna said, often imitated, never duplicated.
Oh, God. I'm going to put that up on my computer.
Remember that one.
Gorgeous. No. So it's more about really taking it up myself, studying marketing, which I loved. Public speaking. I don't know. I just find that life is too short. And why I do what I do and do it well is because I've got this belief in my mind that we're here for a short time, not a long time. So why do we waste it with, exploring avenues in what we're good at? And that's why I think people see me reinventing the wheel with who I am and pushing the limits. And it comes with the journey and the story that I'd love to share with you. And it's about a creative journey that I went through that not many people are they're only starting to know about it a bit now. In fact, probably today.
Yeah, probably today. We'll make that story bigger. Hey, but I want to ask you something. I just said on the marketing side, which is part of your journey. So not many photographers go and do the marketing side as well. I think that's a little bit different. What drew you into that?
Well, that was interesting because when I left school, I just thought retail, selling men's clothing was the bee's knees, and that is it. That was it. I just wanted to dress men. They came into the designer clothing wear when I was working in a part-time job, and when I left school, and I just loved the transformation I could do for people. So guys would come in, they're looking like the plumber, they'd walk out and they look like some stockbroker. I'm like, wow, I love this. And they go out, they come back and go, Zahrina, I got a date. Oh my gosh, I got a date. I'm like, wow. They come back in. I'm married. Oh my God. They come back in. Oh, I got kids.
So hang on. So you're the one to blame that plumbers are in suits, right?
Yeah.
Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, I am. I'm up leveling them. And so what happened is that this transformation seed got stuck into me. And then at the same time, I also was studying marketing because I actually found the fascination of, say, advertising, marketing. I don't know. I just felt business was a big part of my thriving mind and soul. So I loved it. Why? Because my mum's side is full on business side, and they've got a big businesses, they run businesses, entrepreneurial side. Right. So it's very interesting having the mix of my mum and dad, creative and business. And then bang, out came marketing for me and branding. And then when you mix it together again, I'm doing what I'm doing, speaking, marketing, and helping people, confidence. It was just a whole gambit of skills and skills that I have that I am bringing to the table, to the forefront of what I do every single day with every single phone call, with every single person I deal with. And I love it.
It looked, and I that's the thing that really attracted me to you was that marketing element, because I work with a lot of photographers, but I could see the way you worked was around, there was an element about the social media side. There's an element of personal branding. There was a whole thing. So you were taking, your photography and your video work now covers that. And I thought that was really unique that you had that. And I was wondering where it came from. So thanks for explaining
Yeah.
That there was a point you made also, you talk a lot about in the photography about the use of natural light. Tell me about your attraction to natural light.
I'll tell you one thing about me. Maybe there's going to be a lot of things you're going to find out about me today.
Yeah.
Big thing. I don't like electronics, right? Number one, right? Electronics. Anything near me with a cord and electric socket. So I'm not interested in anything that is distracting me and my energy between me and who I'm working with in regards to in natural light in my studio. There's nothing in my studio except the client and me. And that is where the magic is. If I can start with the blank canvas of that person and create $1 million brand from them, that is my gift to me and them. Like it's my challenge. And it's my personal challenge to develop everybody from a blank canvas and then bring in anything I need, like any props or whatever that might be. But you know what? I think the skill basis of a photographer is not to clutter an image and not to treat them as is this like everybody else. Is treat the people who we're serving deeper than what they are superficially, but in getting to know who they really are and tapping into them. And it's not like natural light for me is so energizing. And over the years, I've really loved that energy, the feeling I get when I see the person light up without an electronic light bulb. I love it.
Right.
It's just awesome. It's so exciting.
Is that what you mean? Also, you make a point about saying there's truth in a photograph. Is that what you mean by that? Because I really like that statement, but I wanted to get your
I'm a truth seeker. Literally, I'm a truth seeker. And you know what that means? It means that I find the truth in their eyes. I find the truth in their soul as I'm photographing them. I don't just go photographing 3,000 photos for the sake of photographing 3,000 to make it look impressive, to make it look like they're getting bang for buck. It ain't about that. It's absolutely about getting into the inner truth of who they are, seeing it because they know that I'll capture it, but I just wait for the moment, and I'm really, it's an energy thing, you know, like I'll go back.
You know it, don't you? You know the moment. Yeah,
but I'm very intuitive with people, and I think that photographers, videographers, there's a lot of them, too many of them. They think it's just a technical gig and they get paid for it. But no, I mean, no way. I cannot stand that. I've done a lot of repair jobs in my career as a photographer, you know, and I've had clients crying on Zoom, even last week, crying on Zoom, that they showed me the results of a photo shoot. And I went, oh my gosh, this is horrific. And how much did you pay for this? So really? It's kind of like that sort of thing. So I can see when somebody is disconnected in an image immediately to their photographer, immediately. And why would the photographer let those images out in the marketplace for that poor soul? That kills me. That
I can tell you why.
Absolutely kills me, Rob.
There's a fundamental difference.
It's a massive.
I don't think you even knew, but a few minutes ago, you said that what you do is you have the honor of serving a client.
Yeah, I do.
Right? Now that's a big difference from someone who's out there egotistically driving a set of shots and just getting stuff out the door. Like, here's your 3,000 pics because I'm on digital, and there you go. But if you said you're serving someone. Now, when you're serving someone, that's actually taking responsibility for the work and being really proud of the work. And that's fundamentally why you don't do it, because it's a value thing, quite frankly. Yeah. And so I think and I've always liked that moment in truth in photography. I learned that for me. I really learned that when I was at Mojo, the ad agency, and they're doing we did some wonderful TV ads. But the CEO there once said to me, he said, what's the truth moment for you in this ad or this magic moment? And you just go through and I go, oh, it's when this guy was running through here, or that person opened the door there. And he goes, yeah, it's great. I like that one. My one's this one. Sometimes the truth is different for different people, but there's always iconic moments in video, or iconic moments or an iconic look in a photograph that I love. And I've been collecting, I've got Annie Leibovitz albums and Herb Ritts, and I chased the Herb Ritts album around the world. I finally got it. all over the world. I wanted to get this great Herb Ritts, because Herb Ritts I thought was just fantastic at capturing the moment of people, as Annie Leibovitz is. And you just see how they do it and do it so well. And I love finding that kind of truth in the photograph. I totally believe in what you're saying. Now I look for the magic in video, because the same truth in photograph is also in video. There's more things going, as you know, but there's always there's some part of a video, even how short it is, you go, oh my God, that's really cool. Do you find that as well in video?
Video I'm doing all the time, and it's very, very exciting, because I'm a thought leader in what I do, and I've got a model I take my clients through. So they go through stages of what I do, what I want from them, and what I help them with, and they get it, they love it, and they really understand that I'm very different to the average Joe Blow. But when we're homing in on video, it's similar to the messaging with imagery, and it's different but same. And when people start to really get that education from an expert that cares for them and wants that truth to be seen and actually has their back, and then you can be playful. I'm very playful with my clients, but I'm also know what I want, and I mold them to what I want from them, for them, for their market. Because of the marketing background in my mind, I'm always thinking about their end customer, not my ego of my work. It's about actually how is that end customer for them, their end customer, going to buy and see them, perceive them, invest in them through the power of my images and through the power of my videos.
So can I ask you a question now, right, kind of in the moment, is, you do a lot of work with keynote speakers and presenters, and we're live, and and I love being live, and I love the shots when we're live and we're capturing the moment. Are you flexing any way to help the keynote speakers or people who are performing virtually now? So how they look virtually in on a Zoom or a Teams or a WebEx, because it's a freaking different look. Have you had any thoughts on that or done things like that?
I think I think my middle name is Zahrina Productivity Inventor Executor Robertson.
yeah. It's a long website address, but I think you're onto something.
Well, during COVID, I have been absolutely creating things in the background, doing beta programs, taking people through programs. I've been working, and I'm about to launch a new speaker product too. So that's been exciting. So I've already done it. I've already produced a product for speakers, for virtual speakers, photography and video product for virtual speakers. So I've already done it. It's about to be executed. And it's very exciting. And I'm also on the other side of this part here. I'm about to launch a global brand on video.
And what when you say global brand on video, is that for your brand on video? Do what you mean by that? Or take us through what you mean by that.
No, I'm helping people with video.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm excited, and it's a global brand, and there's a global product with it as well as an offering,
Oh, okay. Go see what you mean. It's been, that's been a bonus for us. My oldest son runs Heartnet Media, and so his YouTube channel through COVID, because that's all we could do. He couldn't shoot. So he had a number of overseas gigs he couldn't do anymore. They were cancelled. So he was remaining in Australia and couldn't shoot because, the reasons you couldn't do in studio and they weren't allowing photographers. So he just knuckled down on a whole bunch of footage he had from 3 shoots earlier in Japan and New Zealand that he'd done. So he just knuckled down and just drove the YouTube channel up. So because people were home, and they're supposed to be working, but clearly they were on some of his channel. But that was just a way of what you could do to kind of drive the subscribers up and produce some new material, which he was able to do until just recently. He's been able to he's now shooting now, but getting out and doing it. So you just got to do what you can do through this stuff, isn't it? You can't sit there. And I think you talked about possibility through COVID, like possibility. What can I do? What's possible to do?
It's almost what won't I do? I'm just really excited that I think the big part of my success has been really working with great partners, and we're helping each other. So I have a wonderful ecosystem of people that I try to help as much as possible. And, and it comes down to, trust, like, and know factor and things like that. It's really important.
Well, collaboration, if it's one word that to me came through COVID and to carry forward, it's going to be collaboration. I think collaboration was anything collaborating. I'm a huge collaborator. I'm a huge connector. anyway, but I just, even through this period, I think more people have realized the power of collaboration. So tell us a bit more. Tell us who you're collaborating with and what's working for you at the moment.
Well, it's actually just happened. Well, a big one. I've just, I'm collaborated with that's been announced, it's official. So I'm working with an influencer agency, an Australian one, an international one, which is exciting. So I'm doing all their imagery and videos for their people. Like I'm photographing ninja warriors. I've signed a deal with like a thing with Warner Brothers.
Right.
Yeah. So there's been some big things happening in the background.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, some really
it's exciting, isn't it? I love the fact that this is global. I love the fact that you're in Sydney and it's global what you can do. We just, so my oldest son just signed an agreement with Discovery Channel for some of his automotive work's being used. It's a small component, but that's the beautiful thing, isn't it, about being Melbourne or Sydney? There's no reason why the quality of our work can't be shown on a global basis. Hey, I liked you talked about the influencer style. It's a great segue to talk about personal branding, this era of personal branding. Why do you think the era of personal branding is here now? What does it mean to you? And because it's obviously a big part of what you do and you do it well. What do you think is driving this need for personal brand and how it's leading into influencers?
Well, look, there was talk about, a couple of years ago, personal branding is so overrated, or it's bantered around, right? You got Gary Vaynerchuk and his banter. So, it's all that sort of stuff. But really, at the end of the day, it's just marketing yourself and doing it well and being concise about your offer and who you are in the marketplace as opposed to your competitors. Do
you think that people, and I know Gary Vee has quite a big argument on this, when I'm aligned with him on this, is that too many people focus on the personal brand, like their image and everything else, versus actually just being good at what they do? Because there's a lot of people who are good at what they do who get their personal brand because they're focused on being good at what they do as opposed to just the image.
That's interesting. You know what? I don't think you can have one without the other. I mean, we're in a visual world right now. We're all stuck in COVID. People locked up, right?
Yeah.
What else are they going to look at? A blank avatar? I mean, who in this right mind? I don't make friends with anyone who does not have a photo, be it any type of photo, on that avatar profile picture.
So tell me why that is, though. Why is that?
Because it doesn't interest me.
By the way, I agree. But why is that for you?
Because if they're not interested in showing up, no matter what degree of showing up, then what am I of interest to know who they are, because they are hiding that much.
Yeah, and I think
hiding that much. What are they hiding from? Right. I mean, everybody's in the same boat. We have to put up our photos now on social media. You have to have a presence.
Well, you don't have to. I agree with you. So you and I are in the same boat here, but you don't actually have to. But I think if you don't, to me, when someone has a photo, I'm with you. I'm like, what are they hiding? Or I can't see the truth in it. I feel like there's something not quite there. And the thing I learned a couple of years ago, I was at Social Media World in the US with my son, Guy Kawasaki. He's a great evangelist in marketing. You would have known Guy Kawasaki. One of the things he said was so smart was he said, have you got the same image through all your social media channels, or is it different? And it's like, well, and what he's saying is for business have the same look, because the problem is if you don't, people don't know. You have a name like John Smith, people are going, is that John Smith? And so you can flex them up for different types of imagery. But what he's saying is for your icon one, when you're trying to create a brand or you're a thought leader, try and have the same image like through Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, so people know it's you. Especially if you've got Guy Kawasaki's name, he said it's okay because there's not many of them around. But if you've got a more general name, no one really knows. And there's always people going, oh, actually, I don't think my Twitter one's the same as that, not the same as that. And so the consistency in brand message, because it's truth and it's trust. And that's the fastest thing you're trying to build anywhere is trust, because there's so much mistrust online, especially, and anybody can essentially say anything. So that's always been mine with the photograph. I think that's why I like to see it. And I like to see, then when I see someone who's obviously used someone like you, although there's no one else like you, I know that, but someone like you can see them actually care about their image. Do you think that as well?
Yeah, there's a care factor, right?
Yeah.
Not an ego factor. It's a care factor. It's like, you know what? I actually care about how I'm turning up. And that's what it's all about. It's how I'm turning up. Not me, but, the people I work with. So, people who do a branding exercises with me in my programs, they actually care about their end result, about their mission, about their purpose. And you know what? I care about their purpose even more showing up. So
hang on a second. You talked about doing a branding thing with you. So if I'm working with you, and I'm doing some photography or video work. So
it's not just photos and video. I create.
That's what I'm getting at. So some of our listeners might be going, "Hey, this Zahrina sounds really interesting." So as a photographer, but what you do is you actually take them through a branding exercise first. Is that right?
Yeah. I go through and I unpack and pack up what they do in their business, and I'm really alignment. I make them aligned better with what their mission is. Because
do some of them get stuck at that point? Like when they come to you for great imagery, but then you go, okay, let's talk about the brand and your market, and they go,
well, I am pushing and asking questions that they never.
Very demanding, Zahrina. I'm not so sure. You're very demanding, aren't you?
No. I mean, talking about realigning them.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to work with Zahrina, it's hard freaking work, right? She's not going to let you just sit there and look glamorous. She's actually going to put you through a branding exercise and a marketing exercise. You're tough to work with.
Well, you know what?
Tough but good.
Today I'm going to call. I could show you this text message. Zahrina, I just got $5,000 speaking gig from your videos. Like, that's
awesome.
Nuts. I got it this morning. I got the text this morning. I'm so proud of my darling client. So, these type of responses coming back to me makes me so heartfelt. Like, just because I've taken people and unpacked their business, helped them realign, then I go and create their brand. People, it's getting going extra level for helping people.
Yeah, I love it. Tell me what you're doing though through this COVID period, because you haven't been able to travel, because you would normally travel and do shoots, Adelaide or Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, I imagine. Has that been hard, not being able to do that?
No, I have been the busiest in 10 years in my whole entire life. Like now, I'm so flat out. It's ridiculous. So
you're not traveling as much. So where have you pivoted? So let's talk about your pivot. Everyone talks about a pivot, and some people haven't. A lot of people haven't. But
yeah.
What have you done?
Well, look, March, I was photographing 200 speakers in Adelaide in a 4-day bubble. We're all together and COVID hit. Now, outside of that bubble, we were like, oh, what's happening? And then it all hit like a brick, right?
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh, gosh, what if I had no business? Ooh, what if? The what ifs came, right? The doubt came.
Sure.
And then I got resilient. I got started thinking smart about who am I? What is it, that next thought of what I wanted to achieve? I actually went to another level of mindset, right?
Beautiful.
Come into mindset and goals and all that. So I went, I want to do a global brand, and I made it come true. And now I've got a big corporate who's got 380,000 email subscribers on their list, and they want to share me with them.
Fantastic. I love the way you took that to the next levels around. It's just fantastic. So many people don't do it, but I love that attitude and mindset about
I get it, but it's only because I want to try something and give it a go.
Right.
I don't
so
know.
You're not afraid. So you're not afraid of failing.
I don't look. I take calculated. I think what could. I just think about the possibility, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you jump into it, but what I'm saying is you think about it, you have a go, but you actually take action, right?
Yeah,
Zahrina,
that's it.
I know that might sound ridiculous, I'm even saying that, but you have no idea how many people procrastinate and do not take action for whatever reason, but they don't. I mean, I take action, you take action, but a lot of people don't take action because they're worried about failing and they're worried about what they'll look like. And I think it's wonderful of you, because you're so out there in terms of branding and your imagery. That's what you do as a job. And if anyone had an excuse not to try new things, it would be you. But here's you who have more to lose actually going for it. So it's a lesson to anybody out there. Like, really, I mean, if Zahrina can do it and is prepared to put it on the line with good thinking and risk mitigation, I love what you talked about then, you got to go do it, don't you?
So I want to share something with you, Rob, because not everything is all rosy.
Oh, come on. What are you doing here to me? This was going well, this interview.
Not everything is rosy.
Oh, my God. Prepare for the downer.
Well, listen, I went through a stage in my business. I've been in my business for about a good 10 years. And I've been working with the cream de la cream of a lot of industries and people and businesses. And it got to a point where I needed to shift what was my purpose. Something was I'm going to say this. Something was just eating away in me, deep within my soul, that I didn't know what it was. And I was starting to feel disconnected.
Yeah.
And that disconnect was just not serving me.
Disconnected from the business? Disconnected from what you were doing, or disconnected?
Yeah, there was a mix of a lot of different things, right? Yeah. It's really hard to put my finger up, but I can tell you though, it was really grating me. It was getting me down. I was upset with myself about why am I feeling this way?
Yeah.
Why am I? What am I losing my passion? Am I going to give up everything? I was questioning myself 24/7, Rob, about everything. And then one day, I'll tell you, one day I was in, a lot of things happen when I'm sort of maybe waking up or going to sleep, one of the two. And I just woke up and I just bluffing around the internet, right? And this thing came across me and I sat up in a bed, I went, oh, this could be it. It just triggered the biggest pull in me.
Right.
And what was it? Painting. So what happened? I saw that, but something just jolted me and it made me feel alive. And I didn't know what it was, Rob. So what happened? I started in a long story come short, I'm trying to, is that I found something that I think helped me to reignite my love for what I do and reignite my creativity. So I went on an art journey.
Right. So it triggered a feeling. This is the most important. It triggered a feeling, which was an emotion in you, and that took you on this art journey.
It went on an art journey, and I literally, I'm not joking. I had, and I still have. I have so many people going, Zahrina, this art is ridiculous. This is amazing. I'm like, I'm doing art, right? I'm just painting and painting, and then after painting, I was doing something for me, for my soul, for no deadline, no editing, you know what I mean?
So it's pure passion, pure play in a way, wasn't it? Pure passion, pure play. Yeah.
But what I never knew is that I never was artistic at school. I never have been. I'm a big failure. I can only draw a stick person. Anyway, so this art took me on a journey for about a year and a half, last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know. Do you know about this?
No, I don't know about the art side. No. So I'm fascinated by this.
Go and Google ZahrinaGallery.com.
Oh, Zahrina Gallery. Yes. Okay. So that's your stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, wow. No, I did. I just wasn't sure how you were doing that. Right. Okay. Got it.
Oh, well, this is it, right? So I went hell for leather. I went to New York as an Australian emerging artist. I flew there. I was discovered over there as an Australian emerging artist. I came back. Yeah. I had press. I had a big corporate open up a massive gallery for me and built it for me. And I did my big exhibition there, 30 to 40 pieces of art, right? Anyway, I'd done all that and at Ridges hotels took my art and things like that. And then I decided, well, a long story that I actually don't, if I'm going to do art, I never want to be what do you call this? A poor artist? Is that right? Is it? Like,
yeah.
You know that tagline?
Yeah. I suffer for my art. Now it's your turn.
Yeah, there it is, right? Oh my God. And so what happened with this art? It took me on such an amazing, deep soul journey within me to reignite me as a person, my passion, come back to what I know best.
Yeah.
This is the core of me, but the art is such another beautiful dimension that I can,
Wow.
it makes my heart sing. And you know what happened? I've got American companies that have licensed my art in America. So I've got licensing deals for my art, my abstract art.
Isn't that cool what you can do? The licensing deals come, I mean, I know you didn't seek that when you first started doing it, but it's what can come out of it. And you've got that commercial marketing angle as well, which is really cool. Now, I tell you what I've got to do, I've got to connect you. So my sister-in-law is an artist in Sydney, right? She's just done an exhibition in Hong Kong. So Lorraine Weir. So we'll connect after this. We'll connect you guys up.
Didn't I tell you, Rob, I'm the daughter you never had?
It's a connector. It's all going on here. So Lorraine, big shout out for you. So we'll get you hooked up with Zahrina. Great things will happen. So there you go. So that is amazing. I love the divergence that we have and the ability to be agile, right? I think that's the other one too. Being agile and flexible and being able to adapt to new things. When you talk about your photography, do you experiment in film as well, or just all digital? Have you played? I know you must have played with film in your early days. Do you play with film at all now? Because it's hard to do. But
no, I'm going to tell you something. Again, I'm going to get back to point number one. I hate technical stuff. I hate technical. God, anything that look at me.
So it's like technology. Yeah. No, my oldest son, he's 23. He runs our photography, his own photography video business for Heartbeat Media. But he's been playing in film, like going back old school. So he's been talking to his mother about, because Lisa, my wife, used to photograph purely on film until she went digital, but all her stuff was on film. And there's something magical about that, because you have to be, we did a lot of rock and roll photography in the 90s, and that was super hard because you had to be filming in the moment and on film, you know what I mean? So if you didn't get it right, and you couldn't have the motor drive going too much because it wasn't digital, it was like on film, and you couldn't exactly say to the artist, look, can you just hit that guitar and jump in the air again? We just didn't get the shot right. It just didn't happen like that. So he's experimenting, but it's play. Like he's playing with film and color and grading and just experiment. It's not for anybody, it's for him, right? He's not doing it for clients.
And what he's doing is what I do with my art. And when I show it goes ballistic missiles all over Facebook.
It's crazy. It's crazy, isn't it?
And they go, are you giving up photography? No. I'm really want to have two careers. Why not?
Yeah. Well, we can, and we can have it. Well, and that might seem crazy for even our listeners out there who are maybe working in a corporate role, and that's why. But this is why people have side hustles. There's nothing wrong with side hustles,
this
right?
This is my side hustle.
I've been doing side hustles before. Side hustles was people learn how to spell it, right? Because it's just been, I've always just not wanted to just do one thing. I always wanted to experiment, and like that whole rock and roll photography thing we did. My wife Lisa used to photograph, and I used to write the articles in the bands, right? So, but we'd be out all night and then try and go back to work the next day, which is pretty difficult and fairly sleepy by about, trying to deal with me up till 10 o'clock in the morning. You're in good shape because I was asleep when I was doing it. But it was great to do it. Why wouldn't you go and do it? If you had the opportunity, you got to go and experiment with this stuff, right? I wanted to ask you a question in photography. So many people go, look, I don't need to get professional photography done because I've got a digital camera and the iPhone's really cool and I've just taken a few selfies now. What do you say to people when people say that? My personal brand, I'm doing it myself with selfies.
Because I deal with people who are smart. People who are smart, I deal with. People with a passion and a purpose and they value their business proposition. I deal with that. That's my niche, right? People who are smart people. Really.
But sometimes they don't know what they don't know. And I think that there's a lot of people who think that's good enough, but until they see what you do, and I'd really encourage you, everybody, and we'll give you your URLs and website stuff at the end, really have a look at Zahrina's work because it's a game changer. If you think you're taking really good stuff, especially if you're doing even stuff you're working in a corporate or whatever business you're doing, you're holding up magnetic branding, great. And we'll talk about that at that kind of stuff because it's a next level thing, and you and you need someone like you to take the shot because you're the truth seeker, right? And I think that's a very interesting perspective. And I think you just have to look at Zahrina's website to understand it's next. It doesn't take you more than 30 seconds to work out, okay, this is what can happen. This is what I can look like. Because I think that is what you do. And you can see it even in all the people you photographed. You can see the differences. I love it. You've got a few before and afters too, which I liked, which I thought was amazing. That was a really smart thing to do, by the way, doing that, because you did it with some really quite well-known people like Justin Herald, people like that. I've known Justin for years, but it's really, really great. I didn't know you were so responsible for changing his image, right? Or at least his t-shirt.
200%, man. 200%.
But it was good.
Look, some people come to me, they look like baristas and they're millionaires. Yeah.
You can be both.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You can't be. You can be a plumber and stockbroker. You can be a barista and a millionaire. What are you talking about, Zahrina? Honestly,
I just help them with that evening up of the real deal.
Yeah, that's it. They're going to meet somewhere in the middle. Do you have to be an extrovert to work with you?
No. Guess what? All my clients, would you believe it? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for
this.
This.
Literally introverts. I love them. I love them. And you know why? It's because they get it. They get me. I just love them. I mold them and I help them, and they're just such sweet people. And I cannot tell you how much my heart balloons out to help introverts. I cannot tell you. I listen to them. I see and feel them where they feel their pain point. They're scared. Gosh, you know what? I've got people like, they tell me stories about why they're coming to me and why. And that makes me just cry because those stories, and they haven't even hired me yet, but they want to deal with me. And that makes me even so emotional because the responsibility that I know I will deliver. That's no problem. I know. 300% I know I'll deliver. It's the beautiful moments of blossoming of them that makes me cry with emotion. When I see people that are introvert and they're going and they're just like, oh, I did it, Zahrina. I did it.
It's so cool, isn't it?
And I'm like, God, they did it. I know you did it because you did it.
Right. And they were really just being them. But it's the ability of you to bring that out. And make them feel at ease, right? And make people feel at ease, make them feel them being themselves. And they're the best. To me, I love the shots that people do when you don't know the shot's being taken. That's some of those pics, are really fascinating, kind of in the moment type shots. And then when you bring it out. So good news, everybody, don't have to be an extrovert. Introverts, most welcome. In fact, most of your client base is extroverts, which is very interesting. Tell me about mobile video. So you talk about a little bit about the video side things now, and a lot about video being produced and the growth of video, and even video for on YouTube or short videos that are done for LinkedIn or Instagram and things like that. What can you tell people about that? Are you shooting some of that stuff for people, or is that what the new brand you're going to do?
What my global brand that I'm about to launch is helping him, people becoming a lot more influential in their bubble, in their own sphere. And so I'm really excited about that. So I help people with confidence through video and helping them go through a branding exercises and marketing themselves and helping them with videos for that. So that's that. Yeah, I'm doing a masterclass on the 12th of November, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's in 2 months.
So it's helping people. Video is it to me.
Yeah.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Well, it brings people alive a lot more, isn't it? I mean, I think that the video stuff itself can be daunting to some people, but there's so
totally.
Technology, easy to use technology. Even you could use it, Zahrina, of all people. I'm only kidding, but no, there's some really nice stuff. And I was talking to my good friend Peter Turin, who I collaborate with, and Peter. I love working with Peter because Peter, he uses stuff that you can use simply, right? And so I've got the same gear as Peter has because it's just stuff that plugs in, it just works, right? And don't overcomplicate it and make it simple. But you can get this really cool stuff. So what's happening is Apple and other suppliers are actually meeting the market as well. So it used to be so hard to do this. Now it's just so much easier, and the quality of the audio and the quality of the video is just so cool. You still got to know how to do it, which is where you come into it. So this is exciting, this global brand. So are you launching the global brand on before the 12th, or is it sort of at the 12th?
Around the 12th. Yeah.
Around the 12th. Then the master class is on the 12th. Yeah. Okay. So I got a question for you right now. Right now, this is gonna. You have to think about this one. So if you could go back in time, in the Rob Hartnett TARDIS, and we went back to Zahrina when she was 15 years old, what would you tell Zahrina, the 15-year-old Zahrina?
Do not flirt with the neighbor.
Do not flirt with a neighbor. Classic. That's one, and really important, right? What else? What else would you tell 15-year-olds?
I would definitely say, where you end up and that journey is exciting as how you started. And I think that develop friendships with people who want to be your friend.
Yeah.
And for who you are.
I love that.
I think that I've got a girlfriend I'm seeing tonight for dinner that I've known since, I think, high school, like primary school. Primary school, wow. And she's just stuck with me because she just thinks I'm a bit crazy, but she just takes me how I am. And she's in a totally different field of work, right? As in, totally. But she's a nurse, but she's my girlfriend, right? But I'm saying accepting and being able to be there for each other. And it's that's what it's about, and I cherish those friendships and relationships. And I think that makes me emotional because that's what makes my heart burst, I love it.
So yeah, authentic friends. I love it. Hey, so where can we find out more about you? Give us the main website to get hold of you, and then a couple of social media handles, if you will, or where are the best places for people to find out more about you?
ZahrinaPhotography.com is a website.
Yeah.
And then Facebook, Zahrina Photography and Video on Facebook. LinkedIn.
Yep.
Zahrina Robertson. Twitter.
And what about the gallery? Tell me about the gallery. Where's that? Where do we find it about that?
Actually, Instagram is great. I really do like Instagram. It's just easy,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So Instagram is probably my top one as well. And the ZahrinaGallery.com is a website for the art. That's Instagram as well.
So got both. All right. So you've got the masterclass coming up. You've got the new brand coming out. You're doing amazing things. If you're a plumber out there, you can look like a stockbroker. How exciting. There's all sorts of stuff. We can change your image, change you up. An introvert, don't worry. More introverts out there than there are extroverts. Thank God. And now tell me about Magnetic Branding, the book.
And you can get this book on my website too, because it actually goes through brand archetypes, personality archetypes. There's interviews, what to wear.
At that. I'm looking at it, ladies. It's even got clothing in there. You got, oh my God,
people's photos, Matt Church, all these people.
Well, hang on. Now you said Matt Church is not worth buying, but no, I'm just joking, Matt. It's all right, Matt. If you're listening, I love you. It's you're flicking through the book there, and as you know, I'm a slave to my image, so I'll definitely be buying it. Very cool. Excellent. I just love the way you look at this holistically, Zahrina. I think it's a full credit to you that you don't just go just the photography and that's what it's about. You do the branding, you look at the image, you look at the whole style thing to make sure it's a whole package. And that was definitely coming across when I was doing my research on you. And that's why I was always you said, why did I want to interview you? Because of that, because you were different and you are different. And the way you go about this stuff is so important going into the future. It is absolutely going to be one of the most important things we do is we have a unique brand, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're in business, you're in corporate, it doesn't matter. You got to be in charge of your own image, you have to be.
And it's not about really, it's about the electricity and the rapport that you have built with somebody before you even start clicking a camera. And that's what that's the big difference about what I do. I unpack people and put them together for how to create a proper brand.
It's the truth seeker in you. And I love that passion you have to be a truth seeker in everyone that comes to you, and not many people do it. That's why I know to you it's second nature, and you kind of looking at me going, "Doesn't everyone do it?" No, the answer is they do not. So it's awesome. Hey, so thanks for being on the show. Been an awesome time. I've got your URLs, got everything going here. It's been fantastic, Zahrina. Thanks, and best of luck with the new brand launch.
Oh, you're gorgeous. Thank you so much for having me on. You're a dream to interview, to be interviewed by.
Fantastic. Flattery will get you everywhere. Thank
you. Everywhere.
Hey, thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Please subscribe and rate the podcast you listen to so we can continue to serve and inspire others. Remember, connect to us on all the social media channels. The Art of the Possible podcast is hosted by me, Rob Hartnett, and produced by Finn Hartnett. Connect with us directly on LinkedIn, Rob-Hartnett, Hartnett, and Finn Hartnett.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.